What is good, NIO family? It's Rey-Jay back with another video. And this one breaks down what's going on with the overall market, what you should be watching for moving forward. I'm also going to talk about NIO and a couple of other tickers like Tesla, SPY, and the QQQ, and etc. And break down what the technicals are suggesting, what's going on with the news affecting the markets, and what's going on with all these things that will affect us for tomorrow. Before I break anything down, all this information, before I get into any more details, let me just mention a couple of things before starting. I'm firstly not a financial planner, so make sure you take none of this as financial advice. And also, if you guys can, please check out the Webull link, which is down below and in the description. If you sign up for Webull, the link down below, and deposit any amount of money into the account, you are guaranteed up to 12 free stocks. The offer ends very soon, in just about 8 days, so check it out before they run out. With that out of the way, let's get on with the video. NIO was up 0.68% for the day as the market is trying to temporarily hold up. But the question is, how will the market move going into tomorrow, and can we see more volatility because of some big data? Just as a big reminder, okay, we have some big earnings coming out. We have Rivian, AMC, Upstart, UPS, and etc. all coming out for tomorrow. For Wednesday, we have Roblox, we have Walt Disney, we have Sony, and the list goes on for Wednesday. For Thursday, we have Alibaba and a couple of others. And for Friday, we have Air Canada, and the list goes on as well. So some more earnings are going to be coming out. We're going to be watching carefully Palantir, Lucid, and just a few others. And NIO tends to be reporting its earnings relatively late. So we'll find out and see what happens with that in the next couple of weeks. Now, for tomorrow, there isn't really anything big coming out. We have some exports and imports data coming out in the morning. But besides that, the big thing that's going to be coming out for tomorrow in terms of data is going to be the economic optimism report for the month of August. This is going to be coming out at 10 o'clock a.m. Eastern time or New York time, because the time is different for me. That's why it says 7 o'clock a.m. But for New York, it's going to be 10 o'clock a.m. or about 30 minutes after the market opens. So make sure you watch for this to cause some volatility for tomorrow. And as far as NIO goes, there's this news that came out that NIO's first smartphone is coming very soon after passing a major milestone. And this is good news for them after they got permission and the right permits to have access to a lot of the information technology improvements, and also because of their 5G support and other things like this, which is pretty good for them. But I just want to mention that this news came out earlier. I did talk about this a couple of just yesterday, and it still is making a lot of headlines. So that's why I wanted to just bring it up one more time. NIO is continuing to build lots of power swap stations across China, and now they're building more in Europe. And we're going to see if they post anything new in their Twitter page. They haven't posted anything for quite a while. Looking at the volume, 53 million is not bad for NIO. It still is slowing down in terms of volume, so that's why NIO is also slowing down, not getting as much buying or selling pressures, kind of like in the middle for the time being. As far as the action goes, the price-price ratio is starting to decline a little bit as NIO is not performing as strongly as it used to. Tuesdays tend to be green about 55% of the time for NIO, so there's a good chance of that, but that will depend on the market too. And just know historically, August tends to be a weak month for NIO. It's only green about 41% of the time historically. September tends to be better. October tends to be a little bit weaker, and then November and December tend to be stronger months, especially January as well. But I think it's going to be a little different this year. I think NIO is going to perform better during most of the second half, but there could be somewhat of a slowdown for August, even like parts of September because of the whole market. But I'm still confident NIO is going to kill it going forward. Looking at the short interest, we did see a big increase in NIO short interest, now about 23 million NIO shares have been shorted. So we're continuing to see that increase. And the question is, how will this affect NIO into tomorrow? So for NIO, I just want to mention that it's looking a little weaker to me because the market ended up pumping, right? SPY was up 0.87%. The QQQ was up about 0.85%. The Nasdaq was up and the market was up, but NIO was only up 0.68%. On a normal day, NIO should have been up over 2%. Because it has a beta above 2.0, so it needs to be performing twice as much as SPY or even the QQQ typically. And this time around, it's a little bit weak. We got a nice pump in the morning before coming right back down. You can see right here. And if anything, I would say that it's not that bad for NIO. I wouldn't necessarily say it's a super weak stock in general. It's just that it is due for a slight pullback after getting so much pumping in the morning. So like right here, you can see in the pre-market, it pumped. It dumped, came right back up, but it wasn't that nice of a pump compared to like the dump. And overall, barely closed kind of green, up 0.68%. So what do I think NIO is going to do going forward? Honestly, guys, I think the market will dictate NIO to some extent. And it's looking like a head and shoulders like pattern is forming. So I could see it drop a little bit lower into like the very low 14s very soon. I think it might pull back a little bit. and then try to bounce again, and it's going to trade a little sideways for the time being, but close a little bit red very, very soon. Now, this could be delayed if SPY does try to like pump to fill this gap right here, because SPY and the market have been all over the place. And I think the reason why NIO did not decline just yet is because the market's still trying to hold up. But if SPY gets one more pump, it has to try to get above this resistance at 453. If we manage to break it, then you're going to be watching this unfilled gap at 456. If that fills, I mean, there is a chance that the market could still decline to fill these gaps lower, but it could be a delayed drop as the market is trying to be resilient. And we will see which way the market goes. So I'm thinking we either pump a little bit more and then just end up dropping a little lower over the next couple of trading days / weeks, or we could see the market pump a little bit to fill this gap and then end up dropping. It's going to be one of those two. So far, the market's holding up, and if we break below 450, that's going to be a bearish signal. 448 as well. And if we continue to hold up, I mean, you're going to be watching to see how well SPY holds up and if we could try to get above 451. Because if we do so, there is potential for us to pump a lot more. For Tesla, you're going to be watching, can Tesla come up to fill this gap? Can Tesla pump a little bit more? Maybe on the 4-hour time frame you can see it. Can Tesla try to get up to these levels and make its way back up to where it closed on this 253 area? It looks like we might see Tesla pump a little bit to about 255, maybe a little bit higher, and then try to hold up. Uh, the trend so far has been a little bit more bearish, saying that Tesla is downtrending for now. But I just want to mention that it's going to depend on the news that comes out and how the market performs. Tesla looks like it wants to bounce and make its way up to about 255, and we'll see if Tesla could hold that or even make its way up there. But for now, we'll see where Tesla goes. And besides Tesla, last but not least, we have the QQQ, and the QQQ is still looking kind of in the middle. It is trying to hold above 375. If it manages to break this, we're going to be watching resistance at 377. If 375 fails us, it's going to come all the way down to about 373. And if that fails us, 371.5 is on the table. What do I think is more likely? I'm in the middle. I think it might try to retest the 50 EMA now. So it looks like it might do the opposite and try to like pump a little bit before it comes down. So we might see a 377 test on the QQQ. It really depends on what they try to do this time around, because the market could be tricky before it comes right back down. And finally, for NIO, what do I see for NIO going on? I think NIO, where is NIO? I have it right here. I think my chart just got lost. NIO, on the other hand, looks to me like it's looking a little weak, seeing how it's rejecting. There's a possible head and shoulders forming on it, so there's a possibility NIO could start to cool off just a little bit. Could we get one more little pump to back to this like resistance around this like 15.5 area and then come down? I think that's one possibility, or it might just start coming down as soon as tomorrow. It really depends on the news that comes out, what happens to the markets, and how NIO performs compared to the market. But what I will say is that I think there's a good chance that's eventually going to come down to like 13.6 to 14. Eventually, it's going to happen either as soon as tomorrow, if not a little bit later. It really depends on the market for now, and I think that's very probable for NIO. So I'm looking for a potential pop on NIO to reach this like and form like a right shoulder. That's one possibility for like the head and shoulders formation. Or it doesn't pop that much and it just like kind of holds around here and then it starts dropping. So it's got to be one of those two. I think either of them are very, very probable. And the best way to look at this would be to just be as, patient as possible and see which level ends up breaking. If it holds above 15, there's a chance it could be forming the right shoulder and pump up to like 15.75 or so to form the right shoulder and then drop. If it manages to fail to hold above 15 and just keeps downtrending, you're going to be watching for a retest of about the 14.5 area. And if that fails, this 14 flat becomes a real possibility as well. So those are both very probable. We will see which one is more likely. I do believe there's downside coming eventually to the stock. It just could take a while, and I am leaning more bearish on it. It's just that I could pop one more time beforehand, or it could hold up a little bit longer before the bearish move comes. What does concern me is CPI comes down in a couple of days, and that could be a game changer for the markets. We will have to wait and see, and until then, thank you all so much for listening. NIO to the moon, as the long term is still incredibly bright, and peace out.